Hello, I'm Joel Blackford with Beth Hassett Sabbath Fellowship. Thank you for joining us. We're virtual only, based out of St. Paul, Minnesota. The phone number works if you'd like to contact us. We do the thought behind the thought. We do the philosophy of eschatology, what you need to know, your reality or existence. We're studying Revelation each week. We're technically studying wars and rumors of wars, which is Matthew 24:6. But it sounds a lot like Lakach Shalom, which would be Revelation 6:4, and that would be one of the four horsemen, we'll call them. Okay, one of the seals, the seven seals of Revelation. So we're studying the rumors of wars because it's a war time frame right now, and we want to discuss this. It's interesting to see what's going on, the perspectives, the patterns, things like that. So wars and rumors of wars as the Assad regime falls, and they fell fast, people, very, very fast. They end ends his regime. It also ends really Syria as we know it. It's going to be completely different. It could be ISIS going forward. That's what I'm arguing. The ruler's plane disappears from radar after leaving Damascus. Well, I'll let you know that he survived, and his family did too. But it sounded bleak for a moment there. And so he was an eye doctor, and then he became the leader, and he was a horrible leader, but he was good at, having a boot on people's throats. And that's kind of what you need to do over there. So this article is just within the last couple of minutes here. And so we're wondering, it was 54 years of rule by the same family, and then he took over about 24 years ago. It's just interesting to see these things occur. So on the right-hand side, we celebrate with the Syrian people the news of freeing our prisoners and releasing their chains and announcing the end of the era of injustice of Sednaha prison, said the rebels. Sednaha is the large military prison on the outskirts of Damascus. Well, it's going to get 10 times worse. So they're thrilled that they're going to be released, but it's just going from one prison to another prison because ISIS is not going to be any better. Just hours earlier, the rebels announced that they had gained full control of the key city of Homs after only a day of fighting, leaving Assad's 24-year rule dangling by a thread, and then it was over. Now, what I'm arguing is worldwide, there are 92 countries involved in wars outside their borders. There are 56 active conflicts in the world. Ukraine is one. You know about that with Russia. Gaza, Sudan, Ethiopia, Afghanistan, Syria, Democratic Republic of Congo, Colombia, other things like that. So this is from El País, and it's an interesting article, basically from June 11th of 2024, that conflicts are just increasing, not decreasing. And so you'll see more of this because I think that's what the globalists want. They want people fighting. So what are we doing? We're talking about the philosophy of the end of days. We're trying to show you the Bible, prophecy, and prophecy is literally sometimes news reports, and then the news reports themselves. So I've lived with Sunni Muslims and Shia Muslims back when I was in college, and I know what it's like to live around each type. They're very similar in terms of being Muslims, but they're very disparate in terms of what they actually believe in terms of eschatology and their lifestyles and things like that. Most of the Shias are Iranians and partly in Iraq, things like that. And then the Sunnis are definitely more. There are many more of them, and that would be Saudi Arabia and Egypt and Turkey and Syria, mostly Syria. Okay, so down below you can see Syria is 13% either Alawite or Shia and 74% Sunni. Well, that just changed. Now they're going to be ruled by a Shia and probably ISIS. Okay, and you can see the numbers on everybody else. You can pause the slide if you want to. This is from Pew Forum, and so Bahrain, Egypt is 90% Sunni. That makes sense. Iran is 90% Shia, and there's Iraq, and I lived with Iraqis too. They're back and forth. They look Arab, but they, in most cases, the ones that I knew were Shia. Okay, Jordanians are 92% Sunni. That makes sense. ISIS is going to be Sunni and not friendly. So just keep that in mind. And then there's little tiny Israel there, and they're not an apartheid state. Just you know that too. There are 9 conflicts going on around Israel right now, and according to John Haller, this is a tectonic earthquake ready to occur, waiting a volcano. Yeah, he's right with that. So 9 skirmishes are running around Israel right now, but it seems to be calming down just a little bit. I'm saying watch Turkey. That's the big one going on right now. And then Iran seems to be fading, but they'll come back again. They're part of the final prophecies. So once again, Syria kicks out Assad and really the Alawite leadership. Turkey is going to be empowered from this, okay? And I believe that Turkey was really behind the quick flip on this. And so it flips to Sunni, which is Turkish, okay? And so I'm arguing that Syria is going to be run by ISIS. We'll see. But I'm saying the CIA and the deep state won this one, and Russia is knocked out from Syria. And that's very interesting. Now, you would think that that's wonderful and everything like that, but no, because if you're a Christian or you believe in anything else, there it's going to be persecution and martyrdom going forward. And Russia, I wondered why they were down there for years. I thought it was the oil. I thought it was for other reasons. No, it was to protect Orthodox Christians. There were some, not many, Orthodox Christians in Syria, and so Russia was there for that reason. And so, reading on the left-hand side, the Islamic group HTS has officially taken over Syria. That could be ISIS, though. Earlier today, they announced Sharia law will soon be implemented. That's ISIS. Christian families have also been told they might search their homes in the next days. No, it'll be worse than that. Syria will become Afghanistan 2.0. Absolutely. So that's persecution. That would be the fifth seal. That's what's coming. Roughly 10% of Syrians are Christians. That's on the high side, maybe 3%, but definitely somewhere maybe up to 10%. Okay. Candace Owens, I don't like her. Christians are about to be mass slaughtered. Pray for Syria. I would recommend that. So persecution at the least, but probably more martyrdom. And she is correct with that. This is Bricks News saying Syria has officially fallen, marking the end of President Assad's government. Way down on the right-hand side. This is so bizarre. Knights Templar International is talking about that. Now, that's the people that would place a cross on their face, on their chest, and run out and kill Muslims and kill not Christians, but kill Jews. And so this is the old invasions of 1093. It's the Knights Templar. It's basically those wars that started up in 1050, 1090, things like that. And so the Europeans coming down to Israel to, why am I blanking on the name of what they were called? But it doesn't matter. You know who they are. And so they're mildly Christian, but they're horrible people. And so the main thing is Bashar al-Assad and the family did survive, as I mentioned, and are alive in Russia right now. Syria war alive. Family granted asylum in Russia. That's where they'll have to stay probably for the rest of their lives. So this is from the Sunday Times. On the right-hand side, Assad and family arrive in Russia, have been granted asylum, of course. Assad with members arrived in Moscow. We thought they were dead, but they survived. TASS is reporting this on humanitarian grounds that they were allowed asylum. That what we know so far, the Assad regime has fallen after rebel forces seized the capital of Damascus. Keir Starmer, Syrians have suffered too long under Bashar al-Assad's barbaric regime. Well, it's going to be 10 times worse under ISIS. Okay, sorry. The future is ours. No, this is ISIS. Yeah, that's their future. Syrian president has resigned and left the country. Yes, definitely. And so this is the fall of Assad, but the rise of ISIS and chaos and the end times and probably eventually the Gog-Magog war. So who's preaching peace right now? Well, it's Elon and Trump and actually Putin, okay? And that seems to be 1 Thessalonians 5:3. That's what I'm arguing is going on right now. And it's interesting to see Elon Musk playing footsie with Giorgia Meloni down in Italy right now. He's playing this perfectly. He's a brilliant man. I don't know what his motivation is, but Trump wants to be on Mount Rushmore. He wants to be a king, and Putin really doesn't want World War III. So this is interesting. This is from Jason A. I don't cite him that often because he's a dispensational rapture guy, but this video was very intriguing. Trump Antichrist arrival. So this is from Donald Trump. Like he's the king of Israel. They love him like he is the second coming of God. But American Jews don't know him or like him. They don't even know what they're doing or saying anymore. It makes no sense, but that's okay. If he keeps on doing what he's doing, he's good for Israel. And America, too. He'll bring peace. Trump, I'm the chosen one to confront China on trade, retweets a quote likening him to the second coming of God. That's from CNN, okay? Very interesting. this is just the way it's going to play out, people. Deal with it. So Trump equals peace, and he's going to force that crazy Zelensky into a peace deal. Putin wants peace. He doesn't want any more war, and he doesn't want to nuke Europe. Okay, and so Zelensky is the problem here, and Biden is too, and really Obama. Trump is going to bring peace, but it's not going to be a long-term peace. Okay, and so I'm arguing that the deep state and the globalists want war, and other people don't. And so Trump calls for an immediate ceasefire in Ukraine and says U.S. withdrawal from NATO is possible. And so everybody, all the beta males are coming around Trump and saying, "Oh, please stay in NATO, please pay for our bills," and it's a ripoff for America. So this is just interesting to see how these things are playing back and forth. Trump and Putin are nationalists. Putin obviously is a Eurasian. Trump is a nationalist for America first, make America great again. Okay, so you see how they're nationalists, but most of the leaders in the world today are globalists or they're beta males. Okay, so this is what we'll see after Ukraine has a peace deal with Russia. You'll see Trump and Jared Kushner pushing for Abraham Accords too. So Kushner will poised to advise the Middle East. Jared Kushner expected to be pivotal to Trump administration's Middle East efforts without taking a formal job. Jared Kushner tipped to help Trump as unofficial Middle East advisor. So this is from Haller again. Very good news articles from about a week ago, very accurate on what's happening. You'll see after Trump solves the issue with Russia and Ukraine that they're going after Abraham Accords. I'm predicting that's going to occur sometime next fall of 2025. Okay, so let's discuss eschatology now and kind of compare and contrast between Christian and Jewish and Muslim eschatologies. This is from Wikipedia, but it's relatively close to what we believe, which is that there will be a good and a bad side moving forward. So you'll have Yeshua as our Messiah, but you'll also have the Antichrist. While on the Muslim side, you'll have a Sufyani, which is evil, and the Mahdi, who is good, and I'm arguing who the Mahdi will be. You'll see in a couple of slides here. And so they believe that we'll go through the end times. We'll have afflictions before that, but go through the end times, then the Messianic age, then the day of judgment, the day of the Lord, and then the afterlife after that. And so it's fairly similar between the three faiths. It just is. And then you've got people that hold to the rapture. Well, that's falling apart. That's dispensationalism. It isn't working, people. Okay, you can see that the birth pangs are opening. The signs, the symbols, the other things like that are occurring. And the rapture people are saying nothing needs to occur. You know, that's the doctrine, supposedly, of immunity. How about imminency? Imminency. And so they believe that, but it's breaking down under investigation. There is no imminent doctrine. There is none. Nothing at all. We're told to watch for the signs. We're told to watch for Yeshua returning, and the Muslims agree in part with all of that. That they'll see the good guy and the bad guy. It depends upon who the people are. So what we're going through in the sequence, this is just my slide to show it. I'll give you more details in the next slide, is wars and rumors of wars, then peace and safety, which is 1 Thessalonians 5:3, and then I argue logistics of getting things done, but that the logistics launch Gog in World War III. And so that's just what I see occurring right now. This peace and safety won't hold. But so, as I mentioned, Matthew 24:6 talks about wars and rumors of wars. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Be patient. Then peace and safety, but that means the sudden destruction comes after that. Travail upon a woman with a child, they shall not escape. So I'm arguing biblically, I think that's what we're coming into. Not quite yet, but we're close. So once again, birth pangs increase. The globalists will push for wars and rumors of wars. The globalists include the deep state, per Matthew 24:6. I believe this is a Joelism, and this is not thus saith the Lord, that the sixth seal, mohair micronova, will occur and will force the wars back by 6 to 7 years. Okay, there will be a fake peace deal and I call him Speed Bump Trump because he's a nationalist, and the globalists just view him as an annoyance. In the meantime, Kushner will be important, and they will push for that peace deal with Israel. And it's just a technology phase. That's what I'm arguing in terms of what's happening right now. The technology is moving forward alongside all the things going on internationally. So at some point in time, there will be a tech upgrade. These implants, so whatever is being put into our bodies, chip wise, or what's the name of Elon Musk's program? Not BioLink, but Neuralink. Neuralink will be upgraded. So it'll be optional at first, but then, and to prevent things like blindness and things like that, but eventually it will be mandatory. There will be a human evolution. There will be, in the meantime, there will be rapid capitalism under Trump and a fake Jesus. That's kind of a paper tiger in all of this. That you'll see the fake Jesus rising in terms of these wealthy prosperity pimps are going to be jumping on Trump's coattails and pushing a fake Jesus on us. And you'll also see some fake prophecies and things like that. Russia, Ukraine peace first, as I've been stating. Israel peace possibly by Sukkot of 2025. The economies, I'm arguing that Wilkerson is correct here. Germany, then Japan, then USA will fall over that time frame of this peace time frame because there's so much debt out there. And the economies have to fall. You'll see Germany fall first, then Japan, then USA. Trump will fall at some point in time. I'm saying about 2 to 3 years into his run. And mega churches will fall too, because nobody really wants to go there. I mean, there's nothing to be stated there anymore other than they just want your money, okay? And their marketing works for a while, but it's churchianity. It's not Jesus. It's not Yeshua. There will be a revolution per Dudeman. According to Wilkerson, he calls it civil war. At some point in time after the economies fall then, Turkey will ascend to the caliphate. Gog will maneuver within the UN. I'll tell you who I think Gog is. Israel will ascend to the only Jewish safe zone. So people will need to commit to Aliyah or die or be persecuted horribly. Safety for some due to loss of personal rights. So our First Amendment will go away. Canada's already gone. Europe, it's already gone. Death of nationalism. Trade, free will for safety, better health, smarter kids. That's what they're going to use. The mark of the beast will be for better health, safety, smarter kids, things like that. Then the tech implants will dull the God consciousness of us. And then we'll go into that tech upgrade version 2. And that's when it will be mandatory. Version 1 will be mostly for government workers and things like that. Tech version upgrade number 2 will be mandatory, and that will be the mark of the beast. So the new solution will be tech. Logistics of waging UN peace. Pope Francis will lead that temporarily. He'll hand it off to the beast at some point in time. Next, increasing persecution, sudden destruction. That's what I'm sensing. Israel will be divided by the United States in this peace agreement. We will be viewed as weak and helpless after that, and the USA would be divided after they divide Israel. Gog would amass the armies, that's Revelation chapter 9, and then he'll just sit around and wait because he's not supposed to invade Israel until the end. Okay, that's Gog Magog. It's at the end, people. Read Ezekiel 38:39, read Zechariah 14, read Revelation 19, and you'll see it's at the end as Yeshua returns. There will be aliens, that's Revelation 9 again, unveiled as the beast system is transferred to the beast by big tech in about an hour. Tech integrations will be mandatory with people. That's the mark of the beast. The seven trumpets will be concluding by about the midpoint as the mark of the beast is truly instituted at the midpoint, increasing natural disasters, plus a pole flip later on. But you'll know the pole flip is occurring. The 7 bowls would be poured out during the second half of the Great Tribulation, the last 3.5 years. Russia and BRICS would attack America as they're weak and helpless. Okay, Gog armies will march out to World War III over time, and then Yeshua will return as Gog from Magog, and his hordes are slaughtered in that final battle, World War III. Did I miss anything? I don't know. What pieces did I miss? What else would you add? How would you modify it? That's how I think things are moving forward. It's not thus saith the Lord. It's thus saith Joel from reading the Bible and looking at news events. So the 2 guys that did hear from the Lord were Dimitri Duduman and David Wilkerson. Dimitri called it the revolution coming. Wilkerson called it the Civil War. He qualified that by saying it won't be like the Civil War in the mid-1800s. America has already had a civil war, and President Lincoln called it the judgment of God. That war was the North versus the South. This is going to be completely different. This is going to occur in our major cities like New York, Miami, Chicago, LA, Boston, Houston, Dallas, Detroit, St. Louis, San Francisco, and Denver. The bloodshed is going to be beyond all imaginings. Yet all of this, with all the turmoil and things like that, you can get deeper in with Yeshua. And it doesn't matter what happens to the world. You need to have more faith, and you need to work on, clean garments and great faith with Yeshua, reading your Bible, and really you need the charismatic spirit, people. You need to pray for that and ask for that. The red horse and the rider can never rob you of peace. And that is exactly how it's phrased in Revelation 6:4. Let the peace of God rule in your hearts, to the which also we are called in one body, and be ye thankful. Colossians 3:15. Okay, fine. So the bottom line is you can get through this coming up, but you need to know the revolutions or the civil wars are coming up. So in Philippians, so this is from my friend Don, and he's really been helpful in getting me the archived versions of Dudeman and Wilkerson. Okay, so what's coming up again? Ezekiel 38 and 39. Thus saith the Lord God, behold, I am against you, O Gog, the prince of Rosh, Meshech, and Tuval. You will come up against my people, Israel, like a cloud to cover the land. It will be in the latter days, that's Acharith Hayumim, which is where we are right now, that I will bring you against my land, so that the nations may know me, when I am hallowed in you, O Gog, before your eyes. Gog. So that's Ezekiel 38, and so it's coming up. We're in the pre-Gog birth pangs and logistics. Things are moving forward. Now, this is who I'm arguing is your Gog person, and he's number 44, and he's going to be running towards the United Nations now because nationalism is taking over, and he wants globalism, and he wants communism, and he wants chaos. That's what he's always wanted. So we see him in his natural state in the upper left there in that garb. You know what's going on there. We see him bowing to the Saudi Arabian king. Down below on the left-hand side, we see various pictures of him created by AI, and you see that he's going to be going those directions. He's a mystic, Mahdi type of a fellow, okay? Before Obama, we had no ISIS. Before Obama, we had no BLM. Before Obama, we had no Antifa. Before Obama, we had no war on cops, okay? He is very close with the Turkish man, okay, Erdogan. And he's going to push that he is Gog-like, and join into a UN type of a caliphate against Israel. And it's going to take time, people. It doesn't happen overnight. But you can see it right now in his recent speech from 2 days ago in Chicago that he's realizing he's out of place right now in the nationalistic world. Donald Trump never gotten over the fact that Obama was able to send $1.7 billion in cash to Iran, and nobody in Congress or the FBI or Justice called for an investigation. So that's the problem. He has contributed to the problems in Syria and, of course, Iran by giving them $1.7 billion. And nobody ever stopped it or questioned it, okay, because he's Gog. Okay, so what does number 44 carry with him in his pocket? Various trinkets that are interesting. He carries a statuette of Lord Hanuman, which is a monkey god, and then other things like that too. So Erdogan will conspire with Obama to resurrect the caliphate. Erdogan is in Turkey. Obama will work via the UN. Obama is a mystical Mahdi type of a guy. Check his Sunni pockets, and he is a Sunni type of a guy. Once again, rosary beads, the Hanuman, the monkey god, metal poker chip of some sort, Coptic cross, and some other things. Okay? And what has he accomplished over the years? He won a Nobel Peace Prize, then he bombed Libya, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Syria, Iraq, Somalia, and Yemen. Okay? I'm arguing, this is me saying, based on the Septuagint, that Gog is this kind of a guy. And I realize that it's completely different than the Hebrew, but it's really intriguing. Thus has the Lord God showed me, and behold, a swarm of locusts coming from the east, and behold, one caterpillar, King Gog. And it came to pass when he had finished devouring the grass of the land, that I said, Lord God, be merciful, who shall raise up Jacob, and for he is small in number. Repent, O Lord, for this, and this shall not be, saith the Lord, from Amos 7, 1 through 3. It's another reference to Gog that's very interesting and very number 44 like. Okay, I argue two different people during the end times. One working on the outside through the United Nations, that would be Gog, will work with kings against Israel externally by forging a 70-nation kings agreement to attack Israel simultaneously. That'll take some years to put together. The UN trusts this number 44. He destabilizes and attacks, and they love that. On the other hand, the Antichrist, the beast, we call him, will work internally to deceive Israel into believing he can bring them to peace. Jews don't trust number 44. Every Orthodox beastly effort will bring curses from God because, unfortunately, the Orthodox will be confused by this man that's working internally with them based on betrayal. Okay, I argue for two different people. I realize I'm unique in this view. Most people think Gog is the Antichrist. I argue Gog will work with the UN, and there's no way that Israel trusts the UN or this Gog-like character. Okay, and the kid that agrees with me the most is this Natan, 15-year-old Jewish kid from 2015 that had a near-death experience. He described the vision of Gog and Magog. It's going to be something that is called very big war. And everybody, the whole world will be involved in that war. Everybody, all the Goyim, all the nations, all the Arabs, everyone will come against the nation of Israel and will fight in that war. The person who will start the war will be somebody named Gog. I'm certain of who he is. Obama, number 44, President number 44. He will be the one who starts that war. And I'm arguing through the United Nations, and he's definitely going that direction. So there's a picture of Natan and this rabbi, wonderful little kid, and I'm sticking with that until something changes. I'm telling you that back in 2008, Obama went to Berlin, Germany, and then went to Denver to give his presentation, and he brought the Pergamum Museum to Denver for his presentation and acceptance of his crown of being the Democratic nominee. And so there's something, and there's a picture of him with Merkel and another person there at the Brandenburg Gate. This is something satanic. He worships his father, the Satan, just like Hitler did. So the prelude to World War II was with that look, that you know what it is, okay? It's the Pergamos Museum. It's the seat of Satan. It is from Revelation 2:13. In Nuremberg and also in Berlin and also then Denver in 2008. And I'm arguing that it's based on Obama's love of sacrifice, martyrdom, things like that, and the four horsemen of the apocalypse. It's very similar, people. Okay. Now, I'm arguing that I think the Psalm 83 war is all done and over with from 1948 and 1967. The nations of that time frame seem to have already come and attacked Israel. So I'm claiming that's done. So that this is going to be a completely different war coming up, the Gog-Magog war. And so as I see the disintegration of Syria, but also the rise of Imperial Turkey, which is based on comments from David Wormser, who is a brilliant man. I think he's very accurate on this. So his article from JNS is Reflections on the Outlandish, Navigating the Strategic Earthquake in the Fertile Crescent. He was about a week too soon. And so on the right-hand side, South Front, what happened then? So the collapse of Bashar al-Assad in Syria, that ISIS will probably take over, and you'll have that peaceful transit of power. Not really, no. And so Israel continues to bomb Hezbollah positions and already sent patriots into Syria. They've occupied the town of Khan. So they're basically staking out their little safe zone to protect against ISIS coming at them. Okay. And so I'm saying that Democrats in the deep state are in a rebuilding year. It's absolutely incredible because Trump beat them, but they'll come back again. Biden and the deep state started a long-range bombing of Russia and then caused Syria to fall in a week. What will the deep state do to cause World War III next week? That's what I'm arguing. That based on these things, that it seems like the deep state and the globalists are all pushing for World War III constantly, and they're getting it done quite quickly before Trump takes office. So I'm arguing that number 44 was working with Turkey to topple Assad and stoke ISIS one more time. Well, when did ISIS start up? 2011. Who was the leader at that point in time? Number 44. So I'm arguing that these things, we've seen them before. It's going to happen again. And that number 44 is causing these things to occur because this is how he destabilizes the world and brings the hatred of the world towards Israel in the Gog War. And that's what he's been doing the whole time through, because it's the Biden regime. Okay, so Biden says U.S. conducted airstrikes into Islamic State targets in Syria. This is just a few minutes ago, December 8th, 3:19 p.m. Eastern Standard Time from the New York Times. President Biden announced on Sunday that U.S. military forces had conducted bombing raids into Syria to keep the Islamic State from reasserting itself. So that's ISIS in the aftermath of the fall. But so what they're trying to do is bomb a few spots, but you don't know who they're both bombing, and they won't tell you. Okay, so they're trying to wipe out pockets of ISIS, ferocious radical group that known as ISIS. Yep, for the time took over broad swaths of Syria and Iraq. But who was in control at that point in time? Biden. Okay, and worry of chaos coming. Islamic State to reconstitute itself as a major force in Syria. Yeah, it's coming, people. You can smell it too. And so these bombing raids are going to do nothing. These guys know how to run. They're like rats or cockroaches. Okay, so what's the problem right now? I'm arguing that the fall of Assad is tied to a continued conflict in Ukraine, are two sides of the same coin, a concerted effort to cripple the Russian influence in key regions while advancing the broader Western agenda. This is the deep state's long game, and it's playing out on the global scale. So this is from Shadow of Ezra. And this is the quote. I'm sorry, I didn't mark it properly, but it's from Assad. I'm not Assad, from Julian Assange. Julian. So this is from 2017, and so it's just finally happening right now that Assange has been predicting this for years, that there's a fight between the CIA, the deep state, and Trump over Syria and other locations, and so obviously the deep state and the CIA won this time and beat Russia out of Syria, but it's going to rear its ugly head again. Okay, so I'm arguing that this is the Gog-Magog war coming up with Turkey, Iran, Iraq, Persia, Afghanistan, Ethiopia, Sudan, Libya, Tunisia, Algeria, Morocco, and Armenia. Okay, which is that region. And Armenia wouldn't be fighting against Israel, but then again, all nations do. Armenia is Christian, so but they were persecuted so horribly in 1917 by the Turks. So based on the ancient names of these locations, Meshech is Turkey, Magog is Turkey, Gomer is Turkey, Dubal is Turkey. These are all those regions that have been there for thousands of years, and so that's what I think is going to occur at some point in time. Okay, and the odd thing is you're going to see Iran involved in it, which is Shiite. They'll come together because it's Israel against Israel, all against Israel. Now, why am I citing this? I can't find that she's ever a believer or anything like that. Baba Vanga. She is from, I'm not sure where she predicted from, what state she did, but the Balkans. Okay, so back in 1996, before her death, she predicted that Syria's fall would act as a precursor to a global conflict. She warned as soon as Syria falls, expect a great war between the West and the East. In the spring, a war in the East will begin, and there will be a third world war, a war in the East that will destroy the West. Interesting. Okay, this is an article from the Times of India from December 7th of 2024. It's interesting to note it. Why am I noting it? Because on the right-hand side, that's the Economist magazine, and they're predicting, bombs and leaders in this macabre red color, and you're seeing the fist down below. Look at the fist. They're predicting that fist, okay? And so they're predicting dark cities and other issues and various things. So what I'm getting at is that Baba Vanga probably is wrong in certain ways, because I can't prove she's a believer, but she did say there would be a key change out in 2012. And guys, I believe that's the case. 2012 was a big year, and I think the third seal opened up during that time frame. So I'm not going to argue with it. So what am I saying? And none of these are thus saith the Lord. But so far I'm accurate on these things. Trump will win in 2024. Check mark. Right. Dudeman is saying that America is Babylon. I can't say that for sure yet, but it seems like it. I'm saying, based on Revelation 17, the 7 kings, 7 heads, 7 mountains, no queens, that meant that Trump would win and that Kamala would be out. Check mark. I'm right with that. The third horseman rides in the summer of 2012. I can't put a check mark by it, but I can say Chris prophesied it perfectly after Sukkot of that year. Certain things would occur, and that Mark cited 1 Kings 12 for Jeroboam. Check marks on both of those. They were both highly accurate. Civil Wars and Chaos starts after Heshvan 10, which is November, I think, 13th, 17th of last month. Yeah, it did. That's when everything escalated. And so check mark for that. And I'm stating based on Marie Antoinette, the beheading during the Paris Olympics, you can check mark it because it seems to be a logical tie-in. That Biden then, now I didn't predict this, but Biden did order long-range missiles from Ukraine to push for World War III. There is a check mark, in fact, because I predicted something more chaotic after that point in time. Now, I'm not saying that I get, a big pat on the back or anything like that, but right now I'm arguing speed bump Trump going later on, and we'll see, and the globalists will fight with nationalists, and Mark of the Beast system later on. There will be UFOs popping up. They're popping up more every day. And I'm arguing number 44 is gold. Can't put a check mark by it. Fake peace deal by this Thanksgiving. Yeah, they announced it. That evening of Thanksgiving, Trump and Elon announced that they had come to terms with Putin, and they'll just wait until Trump is president. It's logical. So basically, then I could check mark by that because that did occur. But then eventually you're going to have another peace deal by, I believe, Tishri 23 of 2025. That you'll have the Abraham Accords. It seems logical. I'm arguing the Mark of Beast occurs after that, but you've got four men working on it: Elon, Jared, MBS, and Trump, all working. MBS is Saudi Arabia. So where are we? We're in the birth pangs. We're not in the tribulation. We're not in the great tribulation. I believe the fourth seal is open. I believe, based on this video, that the fifth seal of martyrdom is right around the corner. You will see weird things of fake peace deals and whatever else, but you'll see martyrdom occurring because that's what the globalists want. There are rumors of wars, and then we go into the great tribulation at some point in time, or tribulation. And you need to work on you, which is you're going to a wedding at some point in time with Yeshua on a Rosh Hashanah or a Yom Kippur or a Sukkot of a future year. Can't be naked, can't be in dirty garments. It's a wedding. So basically, the wedding occurs right away, but then you don't have the festival where you eat until the seventh day. So get ready for that. It's a 7-day thing, and it's like 7 years. So get ready for 7 days and 7 years. They work together. Thank you very much for your time. Be blessed. Thank you for sticking with me on a long video. Be blessed.